Hi folks, this is Jack with Shar Music, and today I am answering the age-old question, what the heck is at the end of my string? For cellists and bassists, the answer is pretty simple. It's just ball ends. We have ball ends on the ends of all of our strings, life is easy. For violinists and violists though, the highest string on your instrument, that's E for violin or A for viola, may have a different end type. The three most common that you're going to find are the removable ball end, the ball end, and the loop end. Now the removable ball end is kind of nice. It's a little more versatile than the other two because it can function as either. That removable ball can come out and you can either use just the loop, or you can put the ball in and use it as a ball end string. So it doesn't really matter what sort of tailpiece you have, the removable ball end is going to work. The other two types, the ball end and the loop end, are going to require a little bit of hardware on your instrument before they're going to work properly. So let's take a look at your instrument and see what type of string you're going to need. Now if your instrument has a composite tailpiece like this with all the fine tuners on it, this will only work with ball end or removable ball end strings. I have seen some folks try to use this with loop end strings, and it might work in a pinch for a short period of time, but it's very bad for the string and I could not recommend it. Installation's pretty easy. You take the ball end of your string, fit it into the gap, and make sure you're holding it awkwardly for the camera. Make sure that string feeds in through those two little notches and run it up through the rest of your instrument. Pretty simple. Most folks, though, will have this type of tailpiece. You notice there are no fine tuners. It's very, very simple. This is a little more versatile. With one or two adjustments, we can make this work with any type of end on our string. Now, the ball end string can just kind of get fit in there and run up, just like that. Or if you need a fine tuner, there are two-prong fine tuner adjusters that you can install on these guys. And it'll work just like the student tailpiece that we had a little bit ago. For this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and install the hook end adapter onto this guy so that we can install a loop end string on here. So first thing I'm going to do is take off all the little bits of this guy. There, easy. So now that it's deconstructed, this little hook moves freely. And I'm just going to buddy it up next to the main pillar here. That's just going to make it easier to feed up through the tailpiece. There we go. You just got to find the right angle. Now that it's in there, I'm going to take the first little nut here, and you'll notice that there is sort of an angle on one side of it. That angle I'm going to face that tailpiece. That's just going to fit nicely into that little hole there. I'm actually going to use our little loop end to pull the hook back. Makes it a little bit easier. And I'm going to secure it nice and tight. The next step is the loop protector. Now this is a little fiddly, and my stupid fingers, this might be a little more painful to watch than the rest of it, so bear with me. I'm going to pinch this between my thumb and forefinger, and I'm just going to slide it right onto the hook of this adapter. And I wish I could get a really good angle for you guys. Oh, that was perfect. And it looks like that. With the washer secured and the loop protector in place, we're going to take this guy and screw it in. I'm not going to get too tight with this because if you do, that hook is going to start moving up towards the screw. And we need a little bit of space to install the loop end. The rest of it's pretty easy. Hook that loop end over the hook, run it up the rest of your instrument. If you need to install the ball end into your string, I would recommend a chin rest adjuster, because the hole in that little ball end is just the perfect size to hook into the adjuster. And that adjuster is just going to hold it there nice and steady while my stupid fingers try to figure out. There we go. Easy. And to remove it, again, the chin rest adjuster, pop it in, and just kind of finagle it out. Just like that. Lastly, there is the knot end for your strings. The knot end, these are kind of rare. I'm only mentioning them for completion's sake. Knot end strings are installed exactly like ball ends, actually. The only caveat is they cannot be used in fine tuners. If you use them in a fine tuner, the way that these strings are manufactured, that fine tuner can kind of grind up against it and eventually break the string. So with your knot, you're just going to feed it straight into your tailpiece, no fine tuner, and run it up the rest of your instrument. All right, folks. I hope this helped. To summarize, if you have a tailpiece with the fine tuners on it, something like this, a composite tailpiece, you're gonna need ball end strings. If you have a tailpiece like this guy that doesn't have those fine tuners on it, you'll likely need a fine tuner adapter of some sort, but then you can either use a loop end or a ball end. Knot end strings do exist, but they're kind of niche. They're very specific uses for knot end strings, so maybe just keep it in mind. That's all the time I have for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you here next time on The Workshop.